Good afternoon, everyone. So, before I start, what do you mean by keystone species? Can I say species which are present less in number but have larger than life effect on the ecosystem? Right? ये statement true है या false है? True. Can I say the species whose disappearance may result into the collapse of entire ecosystem? Right? Can I say zooxanthellae is a keystone species? Zooxanthellae अगर नहीं तो corals नहीं, and corals नहीं तो फिर entire food chain in the ecosystem is not there. Fine. And also, so the producers be keystone species hai, and the top level consumers also is a keystone species. Can I say the crow is an keystone species? क्यों? Crow नहीं है तो कौन सी life collapse हो रही है in the cities? So crow is an indicator species. Crow is not a keystone species. So what are indicator species? Presence, absence, indicate something. It can be indication, can be positive. कि ऐसा ऐसा this is the positive thing that is there. For example, health of a tiger अगर strong है, तो it indicates jungle ecosystem is proper. Or absence indicates something is missing in the ecosystem. So they can be both positive and negative effects. इसमें prelims के लिए दो example. Top level predators are indicator as well as the keystone species. Fine. Secondly, the second is lichens indicate what? Acid rainfall. Thirdly, frogs indicate the presence of moisture in the ecosystem. ज़्यादा moisture, greater will be the amount of frogs in the ecosystem. एक छोटा species का definition रह गया था, that is known as, वैसे इतने काम का नहीं है वो. When I say lion-tailed macaw, which forest comes in the mind? Western Ghats. When I say the lion, which forest comes into mind? Gir. Q? Because which is the most important celebrity of the region? Gir ka lion. So जो celebrity species है, so जो celebrity species है किसी भी region का, it is known as a flagship species. कहाँ पे देखने मिलता है flagship species? Government के advertisements में. कहाँ पे देखने मिलता है flagship species? For in on the road के banner पे, this is my area, please don't honk. घाट्स में ऐसा लिखा रहता है टाइगर पे, आई गेट डिस्टर्ब, प्लीज डोंट प्रेस योर हॉर्न अननेसेसरली. या कोई बर्ड दिया होगा, किंगफिशर जनरली इन इंडिया, कि दिस आर द फ्लैगशिप स्पीसीज. इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है फ्रॉम द एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, except that flagship species and umbrella species का importance is they are from the conservation point of view. That is, if you know the area is of that of a tiger or a celebrity है, so the people will get engaged in the conservation project. So flagship species is the species that is considered an important species of an area. मैं इसलिए ले रहा हूँ बिकॉज ऑफ मधुमलाई टाइगर रिजर्व, नहीं तो ये लेता भी नहीं. मधुमलाई टाइगर रिजर्व में डे बिफोर यस्टरडेज न्यूज़पेपर, बिफोर आई वेंट टू पुणे, समवेयर इन बिटवीन, उसमें आया था टाइगर इज द फ्लैगशिप स्पीसीज ऑफ द मधुमलाई टाइगर रिजर्व. Sorry, elephant is the flagship species of Madumalai National Park. Flagship species means it is the most important for the presence of elephants. Therefore, considered important species of an region. And therefore used on billboards, advertisement, etc., as well as to generate awareness among citizens, yeah, among the people for conservation. Among the people for conservation. MP की ad है तो कभी आपको MP के ad में they will always show tiger. They will MP में तो ढोल भी मिलता है, that is wild dog. MP में you will find even घड़ियाल्स. MP में you will find सांबर, you will find deer, पर हमेशा tiger का फोटो होगा. Why? Because tiger is the most important celebrity. For example, that is a flagship species. BJP का हर प्रोग्राम के मोदी जी का फोटो flagship. So the flagship species. जैसे मैम का फोटो on everything that comes here on this. बाकी अंदर कुछ भी हो जाए GS में, but the projection will be of ma'am. So you have to understand these are the flagship species. Fine. Umbrella species. Umbrella species is nothing but the keystone species. The difference is when government wants to protect anything, then it wants to protect an entire ecosystem, या forest, या anything. The government cannot protect the each and every species. So what the government does, generally it selects the keystone species. Generally, not always. Because by protecting this species, you protect the entire ecosystem. For example, when you protect a tiger, you protect an area of 60 square kilometers. Because एक single tiger को जीने के लिए, for that he requires in his area of 60 square kilometers. A tiger के लिए proper area is one tiger 60 square kilometers. 1 and 2 tigers here. So that kind of a species जिसको protect करके you protect the entire ecosystem is the umbrella species. The difference between the keystone species and umbrella species, keystone species is a technical term. Umbrella species is only from the protection point of view. So umbrella species, again, how to identify? Project elephant, project rhino, umbrella species hai. Rhino is also the umbrella species of the Kaziranga National Park. Generally UPSC जो questions पूछेगा, XYZ National Park, XYZ Biosphere Reserve, कौन सा animal famous है, it is generally asking the flagship species. And when the government is protecting anything, why don't we have save algae, save lichens? Because lichens को save करके you cannot save the entire ecosystem, but save tiger and you are saving the entire ecosystem. कैसे? You save the tiger, it won't allow large number of wolves or secondary consumers to grow. If the secondary consumers are proper, there won't be large number of primary consumers. And if the primary consumers are proper, there will be enough amount of trees and vegetation in the forest. So this is an umbrella species. Means go home, कभी टाइम मिलेगा तो ही, वैसे जरूरी नहीं. प्रोजेक्ट टाइगर का वेबसाइट खोलना, एंड प्रोजेक्ट टाइगर में दे हैव शोन टाइगर वेरी बिग एंड उसके नीचे एलिफेंट, उसके नीचे अदर एनिमल्स. व्हाई? बिकॉज टाइगर इज एन umbrella species. Protect the tiger, entire jungle gets protected. Fine. So this is what is known as an umbrella species. Fine with this? So umbrella species. This is from the conservation point of view. This is from the conservation point of view. So the species which are selected for the conservation of an entire ecosystem, the species which are selected for the conservation of an entire ecosystem, which form an important part of, which form the important part of national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Biosphere reserve nahi, national park and wildlife sanctuaries, which form an important part of national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. From conservation point of view, from the conservation point of view, are umbrella species. Are umbrella species. Example, the most famous umbrella species in India is tiger. Tiger is an umbrella species. एक डिफरेंस अभी सिर्फ इतना याद रखना, लिखने की जरूरत नहीं. नेशनल पार्क वर्सेस बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व में नेशनल पार्क वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी, स्पेशली नेशनल पार्क, में the focus is on protection of particular species, इसलिए most of the species are umbrella species, while biosphere reserve में the focus is on protection of all the entire life that is present. So biosphere reserve will never focus on some particular animal species. It is on the protection of entire gene pool. While the tiger reserves, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries will be focusing on particular species, and generally they are umbrella species. So याद रखना biosphere reserve वैसे हम बाद में लिखेंगे for the protection of entire habitat, and national park species related focus on protection. So we were doing the components of an ecosystem. What is an ecosystem? Interaction between living and non-living. That is biotic and abiotic. And we were doing the biotic. And in the biotic, the first came is the producers. And these producers are basically one primary producers, that is which will do photosynthesis. And second is the chemosynthesis. We will call them as secondary producers. Photosynthesis, you already know the process. एक past year question है, photosynthesis is what? So can I say, दो options मैं दे रहा हूँ. Photosynthesis is the process. One statement is conversion of potential energy into kinetic energy, where the output is oxygen and water vapor. Statement 1. Statement 2, conversion of free energy into potential energy, where the output is carbon dioxide, oxygen and water vapor. What is that? Conversion of potential energy into kinetic energy, or free energy into potential energy. Photosynthesis is conversion of free energy. Sun's energy is considered as a free energy into what? Kinetic or potential? Into potential. Confusion है? Why potential? Why not kinetic? देखो काइनेटिक एनर्जी अगर होता तो क्या होता? प्लांट के नीचे जाओ, भूख मर गई, ऐसे होता है? यू स्टैंड बिलो द प्लांट, ऑटोमेटिकली फूड इज ट्रांसफर्ड. No, it is an potential energy in which you have to do some kind of work, take in, chew, digest, and then you get the source of energy. So photosynthesis is conversion of free energy into potential energy. इतना याद रखना. Now what is chemosynthesis? So making of food by chemical processes, obviously. So you can take the definition of chemosynthesis. Chemosynthesis is a process which is used to release, which uses energy released by inorganic chemicals, energy released by inorganic chemical reactions to produce food, chemical reactions to produce food. यहाँ photosynthesis में organic chemical reactions, इसमें inorganic chemical reactions to produce food. Chemosynthesis occurs in the absence of sunlight. Chemosynthesis occurs in the absence of sunlight, and therefore is an important part of deep oceans as well as bacteria living along the living around hot springs, geysers, around hot springs and geysers, as well as volcanic vents. Volcanic vents. जहाँ से volcanic eruption. See, at such a high temperature, obviously trees cannot grow. So photosynthesis won't be there. Then we have chemosynthetic bacteria. अभी काम नहीं आएगा chemosynthetic bacteria. 3 लेक्चर बाद फिर से हमें chemosynthetic bacteria लगेगा because of bioremediation. You must have heard about bioremediation, the process of breaking down of pollutants and by the use of bacteria. So chemosynthesis is used there. You know already chemosynthesis कहाँ पे आकर होता है. You must have gone to malls, theaters, जहाँ पे waterless urinals लिखा होता है. What does it do? It uses the chemosynthetic bacteria. Without water, how do you break down the waste, organic waste? Chemosynthetic bacteria या anaerobic bacteria uses all these things. Fine? Generally, methane gas is released by these processes. Anaerobic respiration में again लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं, सिर्फ याद रखना. Methane gas is released by the process of anaerobic respiration. Right? And when the methane gas is released by the process of anaerobic, कहाँ हो सकता है anaerobic respiration? Obviously below the sea floor. So gas hydrates at the bottom of oceans. Gas hydrates. और what you say? कल मैंने gas hydrates बताया था, I guess. Fine. Shale gas at the bottom of oceans. Methane is released and trapped. Or biogas. Methane is released. Anything that जहाँ पे anaerobic respiration है, methane is released in the absence of oxygen. Rice fields, इतना ज़्यादा कीचड़ है, it is so much waterlogged कि the soil is acidic which does not allow aerobic respiration. So wetlands in the world will release methane gas. Rice fields in the world will release methane gas. Inside the cattle, methane gas is released because cattle will engage in a digestive process known as what? What is the name of the digestive process? कैसे होता है cattle का digestive process? Remuneration. Then rumination. Rumination, what happens in the process of rumination? You have seen cattle कुछ खाएगा, it will put it inside. थोड़ी देर बाद it will take it, फिर से chew, फिर से it will put it inside. थोड़ी देर बाद it will take out, chew and put it inside. So बाहर aerobic ठीक है, अंदर जाके it becomes anaerobic. इतने बात. And इसीलिए animal husbandry industry is related with methane emissions and global warming. This is what happened in Katowice. Katowice में it was recognized कि rice field से ज़्यादा it is the animal husbandry industry of the developed nations which is causing global warming because methane is more powerful a greenhouse gas than the carbon dioxide. More powerful. But आपका past year UPSC question है, I will discuss that later on. उसमें पूछा है methane is released by anaerobic respirations, true or false? The most important source of methane is rice fields, true or false? True. Methane is a dangerous gas, true or false? Dangerous gas for global warming. False. क्योंकि मीथेन का हाफ लाइफ पीरियड 5 years, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का हाफ लाइफ पीरियड 200 years. So whatever the methane that has been released in the atmosphere is destroyed. And carbon dioxide whatever is released in the atmosphere will be there. अगर मीथेन गंदा होता गैस तो CNG बसेस नहीं आती. Fine? तो फिर ये all this transport system would not have gone through CNG. It would have used the LPG only. The methane is not dangerous. Only उसका dangerous is short form, short life. And tropical country like India, methane is destroyed within 1 year. Whatever the methane that is released, it is destroyed within the 1 year. Maximum life of methane, tundra region में, it is 5 years. So it is not at all important. So this is the producers. अभी you have to ask yourself कि क्या questions आ सकते हैं. So I have told you the questions from here. Second करने के लिए questions कभी नहीं आएंगे is the consumers. And consumers are known as heterotrophs. Autotrophs. Because they can manufacture their own food. We cannot manufacture our own food. We are other nourishing. We are not dependent. तो मैंने एक पूछा था आपको climate में भी. Why we are heterotrophs? Green color T-shirt. He cannot go out and do photosynthesis. Therefore, he still has to eat plant. Fine. So that is what is known as consumers. We cannot manufacture our own food. अब थोड़ा ये जो जितना भी वॉट एवर आई टेल यू, इसको बाद में एप्लीकेशन में लगेगा, बिकॉज यूपीएससी विल आस्क यू एन अप्लाइड क्वेश्चन. ड्यू टू फोटोसिंथेसिस, ड्यू टू ओशन एसिडिफिकेशन, कोरल्स आर डिस्ट्रॉयड, एक ऑप्शन देंगे. द एंटायर ओशनिक फूड चेन इज डिस्ट्रॉयड, दूसरा ऑप्शन देंगे. क्या? इफ यू नो corals are destroyed and therefore zooxanthal is destroyed, so obviously the entire food chain will be destroyed. Fine. So ऐसे आएगा, because we cannot manufacture our own food. we में humans आएंगे, we में fishes will come, animals will come. So if you destroy producers, entire food chain is destroyed. So consumers or heterotrophs, I will give you that only in points बिकॉज इसमें से क्वेश्चन नहीं आएगा. अदर नरिशिंग, अदर नरिशिंग, दे आर नोन एज अदर नरिशिंग, अदर नरिशिंग. दे आर डिवाइडेड इनटू herbivores, or primary consumers. Next, carnivores, secondary consumers. Predators, the top level consumers. And lastly, omnivores, मतलब both veg and non-veg, who can eat both. That is, so you can draw this diagram. कभी उल्टा नहीं होगा. इट विल नेवर बी कि प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर्स विल प्रोड्यूसर्स विल ईट प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर्स विल ईट सेकेंडरी कंज्यूमर्स. कभी उल्टा नहीं होगा. सो दिस इज व्हाट इज द biotic components are always arranged in hierarchical order, and that hierarchical order is known as pyramids. They can be pyramid of energy, they can be pyramid of biomass, they can be pyramid of numbers, or this can be a simple food chain. They can be simple food chain. Can you tell me why it is triangular in shape? जैसे हम ऊपर जाएंगे तो population of species will keep on decreasing. Sure? If you say population of species goes on decreasing, तो आपके पेट के अंदर कितने बैक्टीरिया है? Who is superior species, you or bacteria? Bacteria is superior than human beings. That will depend upon ecosystem. Remember, This is basically the pyramid of numbers. In simple way, the population of producers should be greater than primary consumers. Agar inka population is greater, then they will die because of hunger. Fine. The population of primary consumers should be greater than that of secondary consumers all over the world. Secondary consumers should be greater than tertiary and so on. इसीलिए because जितना आप ऊपर हो in the food chain, remember, जितना you are greater, higher in the food chain, you require more number of food because of simple Lindman's law, which is known as 10% rule. That is, only 10% of energy is transferred from lower trophic levels to the higher trophic levels. So it is not absolute in numbers. So बहुत confusing rule है because it depends upon which ecosystem you are there. अगर आप aquatic ecosystem में है, maybe 14% of energy is transferred. If you are in the terrestrial ecosystem, only 10% of the energy will be transferred. What was someone saying? So it depends upon where you are, but this is how the pyramid of numbers will go on decreasing. The higher you are in the food chain, more will be the amount of food required. इसलिए किसी भी जंगल में tigers are always less in number than wolves. Wolves are always less in number than cattle. Cattle is always less in number than the plants. And human beings, कहाँ पे है इसमें? Human beings are different species. That is, you cannot put them in this level, you cannot put them in this level. They are omnivores. But वैसे भी the number of human beings are obviously lesser than the number of crops which are present in the world. Fine. So this is basically because जितना ज़्यादा आप ऊपर हो, उतना ज़्यादा food खाना पड़ेगा. इसलिए कल का statement, food security अगर destroy करना है, insecurity if you want to destroy in the world, you should be here. You should not be here or here. So promotion of veg will reduce the food security. Will reduce the food insecurity, will create food security because you will be eating lesser number of food. Your body will be requiring lesser number of the energy because you are getting pure form of energy in the form of photosynthesis as per 10% rule. Because if there is 100% energy here, only 10% of energy is given here. This person has only 1% of energy. This has only 0.1% of the energy which is present here. And this has only 0.01% of energy. 10% rule say only this much energy is transferred, baki ka used in the process of living. So the greater you are, more amount of food you will have to eat. So you want to eat, if you are eating non-veg, that non-veg is going to eat the food crops. It is going to store the energy. उसके बाद you are going to eat that non-veg. Fine. If you are eating more higher amount of red meat, then you are eating more amount of food because that cattle is also eating some kind of an crops. So higher you are in the food chain, you are harmful for the ecosystem. You are harmful for global warming. You are harmful for resources. Why global warming? जितना higher you are in the food chain, उतना, if you are eating more of a non-veg, उतना more carbon emissions you are doing. चिकन खाने से भी कार्बन एमिशंस. कहाँ का चिकन अच्छा लगता है? KFC, कड़कनाथ. So if you see, अब ये थोड़ा different है. We have to consider from the Indian point of view versus from the Western point of view. ये जितने भी rules है, they do not apply to the Indian point of view, but they apply to the Western point of view. Western point of view, they will eat the chicken, they will grow the chicken in the poultry farm artificially. Fine. Chicken को कैसे grow किया जाता है? How artificially? That means they are subjected to light. And गर्मी से फिर अंडे में से chicken comes out. Then they are given antibiotics. And thus they become bigger in size. जैसे they grow, what should be done, what should occur in 6 months will occur in weeks. And they will land up in your store. When they land up in the store, you eat them. Fine. जब भी हम खाते हैं, you क्या, मैं भी, I also eat them. So I forget this as soon as I leave the class. So what happens is, now you see the Western model, MACD, KFC. They engage in more and more processing, and this processing is done in industries. and more processing in central industries, uske baad there is a transportation involved, there is a storage involved, there is a processing involved, there is a refrigeration involved. Each of this is energy consuming. Jitna transportation, 19 gigatons of carbon dioxide is released. Jitna refrigeration, it is said that 12 gigatons of carbon dioxide is released. Jitna more processing, utna more water is used. For example, to grow 1 liter of wheat, 7 liters of water. To make 1 kg of brown bread, 27 liters of water. To make 1 kg of chicken, 107 liters of water. To make 1 kg of cookies from the same wheat, 700 liters of water. And to make 1 kg of red meat or beef, 70,000 liters of water is required. क्योंकि ज़्यादा धोना है. Therefore, याद रखना, promotion of veg is good for biodiversity, promotion of veg is good for climate, promotion of veg is good for food security. Just ये याद रखना. So promotion of veg. So India में ये rules does not apply because हम processed नहीं खाते. हम लेते हैं chicken and we cut it inside the house and we make it. हमारे इसमें processed chicken नहीं है. Processed chicken means उसको जाके फिर और उसको सॉसेस से उसको और स्टोर करना, उसको और श्रेड करना. बट दिस अप्लाइज टू जितना ज़्यादा प्रोसेसिंग है. फॉर अगेन एग्जाम्पल इज मैगी. मैगी कम्स फ्रॉम प्रोसेस्ड व्हीट, दैट इज मैदा. सो व्हीट और मैगी में 50 लीटर ज़्यादा पानी लगता है टू मेक द सेम क्वांटिटी. देयरफॉर प्रोसेस्ड फूड शुड नॉट बी यूज्ड इफ यू आर प्रो क्लाइमेट चेंज. फाइन. Example is many of the European countries are now promoting vegetarianism, to becoming vegan, what you say. Secondly, so you remember anything that is sustainable agriculture या sustainable way of living में अगर आता है promotion of veg, yes or no? Yes. Avoid non-veg, promote veg, that comes, everything will come in sustainable. Fish is not considered in this. क्यों? Because fish does not feed on the crops. Fish will feed on phytoplanktons. Natural fish will not come in this. Red meat comes in this. Fish से इतना ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता because there is no other option. But red meat is harmful. और उसके बाद रेड मीट के दूसरे हार्मफुल LDL वो सब तो अलग ही है. कोलेस्ट्रॉल लेवल एक्सेट्रा इज डिफरेंट. एग्जाम्पल इज कड़कनाथ. Only chicken which does not cause cholesterol and therefore they have been given GI tag. कौन से स्टेट में? कड़कनाथ, in the Madhya Pradesh. Fine with this? I guess you have read about the Kadaknath. So you remember this diagram and just note down somewhere, that is the sustainable living, comma, reduction of food insecurity, comma, reduction of hunger, and reduction of carbon footprint. Requires promotion of veg. Fine with this? Nothing else from this part. Only this question may come. And lastly, see, once we are here, what will happen if we die? Any of this dies. It gets converted into, this will get converted into humus. This all may get converted into humus, all shale gas, natural gas, or carbon dioxide. It is trapped in the entire soils. So this is done by the third level of organisms, which are known as detrivores and decomposers. Yes. चिकन तो प्राइमरी कंज्यूमर खाएगा ही ना, चिकन कहाँ क्या खाएगा? इफ यू आर ईटिंग चिकन, detrivores and decomposers. These are classified into saprophytes or true decomposers. Saprophytes or true decomposers, which includes bacteria, fungus, such as yeast, mushroom. Mushroom is what? A kind of an fungus. Mushroom and molds. So आपको एक पास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन कितना सिंपल था, इसमें दिया था फंगस, बैक्टीरिया एंड वायरस विच विल कम इन डिकम्पोजर्स. सो ओनली फंगस एंड बैक्टीरिया, वायरस नहीं. गेटिंग इट? by looking at this question, देखो क्वेश्चंस कैसे आ रहे हैं, कहाँ से आ रहे हैं. सो डोंट वेस्ट टाइम, बिकॉज इफ यू रीड शंकर IAS और एनी ऑफ द बुक, दिस एरिया हैज 300 पेजेस और जो मेन एरिया है उसमें सिर्फ 50 पेजेस है. क्वेश्चंस जनरली मेन एरिया से आ रहे हैं, वो भी पूरे करंट में से. दे आर नॉट आस्किंग यू दिस एरिया, इसमें से आ रहे हैं तो दे आर आस्किंग यू वेरी सिंपल क्वेश्चंस. while the detrivores include the animals which eat the dead. Detrivores means animals which eat the dead. Animals which eat the dead, which includes earthworms, vultures, rats, dogs, etc. Who is the top level detrivore? Vulture. So हम इनको क्या कहते हैं? Even scavengers. Vulture is the top level detrivore. Fine. अब based on this, I am asking you one simple question. Based on this diagram itself, इसलिए मैंने रब नहीं किया. If any kind of pollutant enters the food chain, सबसे ज़्यादा effect of pollution will be seen in option 1 plants, option 2 cattle, option 3 humans, option 4 polar bear. सबसे ज़्यादा effect of pollution will be seen in option 1 plants, option 2 cattle, option 3 humans, option 4 polar bear. कोई भी pollutant enter करता है, so सबसे ज़्यादा concentration of pollutant will be at the top level of the food chain, क्योंकि वो सबसे ज़्यादा खाना खाएगा. अब खाने में pollution है, there is pesticide in 100 grams में, if 1 gram of pesticide is there, सबसे ज़्यादा कौन खाने वाला है? Polar bear. क्यों? क्योंकि it will eat plants will be eaten by and some of the cattle. Maybe cattle will be eaten by humans and human will be eaten by the polar bear. Fine. So amount of pollution will be maximum in those animals which are at the top of the food chain. हमेशा. क्यों? Because simply it is going to eat more food. अब वो मरे हुए एनिमल को कौन खाएगा? Vulture. So जो कितने maybe 1 gram of pollutant is there in 1 kg of rice, in 1 kg of plants. This animal is eating 10 kgs of plant. So उसमें 10 grams हो गया. Fine. It is being eaten by and human beings. जो 10 beef cattle खाता है हर, so कितने ग्राम हो गए? 100 grams. And polar bear साल में 3-4 human beings खा लेता है. So 300 grams. After death, vulture is eating maybe 10 polar bears. So 300 grams become 3 into 10, 3 kgs of pollutant in vulture. Getting it? So this process is what is biomagnification. हम separately करेंगे. But you should know why vultures are getting extinct in India. Why? Because of simple process, we are using diclofenac as a painkiller. Commonly used in human beings also, commonly used in cattle industry also. But the cattle ka carcass or cattle ka dead bodies are left out in open, which is eaten by the vulture. And because vulture is at the top of a food chain, or it is a saprophytes, the concentration of that diclofenac in their stomach or intestine increases, which causes intestinal rupture. And thus the vulture is dying. Vulture nahi, if you eat the same amount of diclofenac, you will also experience the same thing. इसलिए कहा जाता है बहुत ज़्यादा पैरासीटामोल मत खाना, अगर अदरवाइज लीवर खराब हो जाएगा. कॉम्बीफ्लैम is not should not be given without doctor's prescription. Vicks Action 500 या extra ये जो medicines have been banned. Why? Because they all cause the same thing, intestinal and liver का malfunction, because they are harmful to liver and kidney, but सबसे ज़्यादा harmful to one which is at the top. So one thing here, application you write down. As the vulture is the top level, as the vulture is the top level decomposer, excessive and unregulated use of diclofenac, excessive and unregulated use of diclofenac is causing intestinal rupture or internal rupture in vultures, intestinal या internal ruptures in the vultures, resulting into extinction of vultures. Resulting into extinction of vultures. And diclofenac कहाँ पे use होता है? In pain killing. Therefore the use of diclofenac has been banned in veterinary medicine industry. Diclofenac has been banned in the veterinary medicine industry. Fine. ये सिर्फ एक एग्जाम्पल है. Recent examples will do when we'll come to the topic of biomagnification, bioaccumulation. But vulture ka is important topic. There has been 3-4 questions regarding the vulture. Why the vultures in India are getting extinct? Reason is not because doctors को पता नहीं है. Reason is in villages most of the doctors are quacks. Quacks मतलब fake doctors. And therefore they will give the fake medicines. कुछ भी हुआ diclofenac. Again the questions here. Understand prelims में ही आएगा, इसमें से nothing will come in mains. Mains में ऐसे नहीं आएगा. Write a short note on the extinction of the vultures. They will ask you entire short note on bioaccumulation. So there are some of the abiotic components, and this abiotic components, can you tell me what are the major abiotic components? Light. Can I say nutrients? Can I say एक important oxygen? Can I say moisture or water? Can I say temperature? These are some of the abiotic components. Even sunlight is a abiotic component. Don't consider Suraj Bhagwan to, it is a biotic component. It is an abiotic component. This was asked to me in the class कि हमारे religion में तो हम सूरज को भगवान मानते हैं तो आप कैसे कह सकते हो इट इज एन अबायोटिक कंपोनेंट? सन हैज लाइफ, सन डज नॉट हैव लाइफ. Abiotic component, light. Tell me, all these components, are they available at each and every place in equal quantity? No. So when they are available in lesser quantity, these components are technically known as limiting factors. And questions will come from limiting factors. They will not ask you kaun sa hai abiotic components. These are the examples of abiotic components. Fine? Can I continue iske aage? When this abiotic components, have you written this? When these abiotic components are available in lesser quantity, that they may influence the survival or the conditions of an ecosystem. They may influence the survival or conditions of an ecosystem. They are known as limiting factors. Survival or they may influence the or condition of an ecosystem. They may influence the survival or condition of an ecosystem. They are known as limiting factor. Example 1. Sunlight is a limiting factor. Sunlight is a limiting factor below the depth of 200 meters in aquatic ecosystem. True or false? Yes. Sunlight is a limiting factor below the depth of 200 meters in the aquatic ecosystem. इसलिए हम कहते हैं this as a photic and this as a aphotic. So, fine with this? Sunlight किसके लिए important है? So, that is the next point. Sunlight is important for photosynthesis. And photosynthesis से क्या मिलता है? Photosynthesis का outcome क्या है? Oxygen. And photosynthesis is required for oxygen. See how I am linking this. कि ये अलग अलग पढ़ के कोई फायदा नहीं. Now, sunlight is a limiting factor. Sunlight is going to give out oxygen and it is going to give out this. Now, suppose if this is a water body and in this water body, I am now polluting this water body and इसके ऊपर plastics आ रहे हैं या इसके ऊपर there is a black color या sludge is there. This sludge is blocking the sunlight, right? Black color हो गया on the top of a water body due to pollution या plastic pollution है or in the water body. This is one factor. Secondly, इतना ज़्यादा fertilizers are being used on the ground. All these fertilizers, especially nitrogen and phosphorus, excess fertilizer through rivers, through rain flows into the water body. Because it flows into the water body, there is a sudden growth of seaweeds या algae in the water body. Algae जब तक जिंदा है तब तक ठीक है, but algae and weeds have very small lifespan. And because when they die, their bodies will start floating on the water and they will start blocking the sunlight. जैसे ही sunlight is blocked, photosynthesis stops. As the photosynthesis stops, whatever the plants or weeds are there inside the water body, they will start dying. And therefore, they will give out carbon dioxide. Anything that dies gives out carbon dioxide. So, the amount of carbon dioxide will increase and the amount of oxygen will decrease. As the plants start dying, fishes which are there on the plants or the animals which are there on the plants, they will also start dying because they will not get food. They will all start releasing the carbon dioxide in the water, and unka bodies will also start floating on the top. As a result of this, the amount of oxygen in the water body will decrease. As the amount of oxygen will decrease, initially there will be a demand for oxygen to decompose their bodies, and we will call this as biological oxygen demand will increase. Demand for oxygen will increase. Uske baad there won't be even that much oxygen which is required for breaking down of inorganic substances for some chemical reaction. Ek to oxygen is required for bacteria to decompose. There are some of the aerobic bacteria जो decompose करेंगे, उनको चाहिए oxygen for survival, and aerobic bacteria. So that is biological oxygen demand. There are some anaerobic bacteria which do not require oxygen for survival, but they require oxygen for chemical reaction of oxidation. Getting it? So this is anaerobic bacteria. उनके लिए भी oxygen नहीं होगा, and COD will increase. Ultimately, this entire lake will become polluted and it will turn black in color. So when light is a limiting factor, then biological and chemical oxygen demand increases, and BOD and COD is an indicator of water pollution. This is what I wanted to tell you. Getting it, everyone? Everyone? Why BOD and COD is an indicator of water pollution? Because oxygen level is less, इसलिए उसका demand is more. क्यों demand is more? For decomposition of organic waste, biological oxygen demand. Q demand is more? Decomposition of all kind of waste, includes organic and inorganic, chemical oxygen demand. Then come to National Green Tribunal. National Green Tribunal uses the measure of BOD and COD to assess the water pollution in the lakes. If BOD is high, that means यहाँ पे there is more of an organic waste, lake साफ हो सकता है. But if COD is high, that means इसमें heavy metals भी है, lake साफ करना is challenging task. Right? ऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट को साफ करना बहुत आसान है, बट इनऑर्गेनिक वेस्ट को, हेवी मेटल्स को साफ करना मुश्किल है. देयरफॉर इट इज अ चैलेंजिंग टास्क. सो वेयर वी यूज बीओडी एंड सीओडी टू इंडिकेट द लेवल ऑफ वाटर पोल्यूशन. किसने बोला था? नेशनल ग्रीन ट्राइब्यूनल यूजेस द कंसेप्ट ऑफ बीओडी एंड सीओडी. पूरे वर्ल्ड पे यूज होगा. बट क्यों लेक्स बिकम पोल्यूटेड ड्यू टू प्लास्टिक? Because they become dead lakes. Why they become dead lakes? Because plastic will not allow the penetration of sunlight. Fine with this? Then come to the recent. Therefore, the plastic pollution is making oceans as biological deserts. मतलब dead zones. What do you mean by biological deserts? No life is possible. Then come to current affairs. ये तो एक normal plastic हो गया. Plastic has been banned by न्यूमरस कंट्रीज. हमारे इंडिया में भी बहुत सारी कंट्रीज ने, सिटीज ने, स्टेट्स ने प्लास्टिक बैन किया. रिसेंटली आई वाज इन पुणे, मुझे स्ट्रॉ नहीं मिला बिकॉज स्ट्रॉ इज मेड अप ऑफ प्लास्टिक. सो स्ट्रॉ भी अलाउड नहीं है. इतना स्ट्रिक्ट बैन है. प्लास्टिक की थैलियाँ वो सब तो छोड़ ही दो. सो बट देन व्हाट कम्स आउट इज ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम माइक्रो बीड्स. माइक्रो बीड्स को आप बैन नहीं कर सकते. आज भी इंडिया में वॉलनट स्क्रब अवेलेबल है मार्केट में. कोई भी स्क्रब अवेलेबल है मार्केट में. हेड एंड शोल्डर्स का मेंथॉल वाला शैम्पू अवेलेबल है मार्केट में. सो दे डू नॉट हैव मेंथॉल और एनीथिंग. दे हैव माइक्रो प्लास्टिक्स जिसको हमें उल्लू बनाया जाता है कि सेइंग कि उसमें वॉलनट है. इट हैज नथिंग टू डू, नो वॉलनट, नथिंग. इट हैज माइक्रो ब्लेड्स विच विल हैव एक्सफोलिएशन इफेक्ट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक फेमस टूथपेस्ट है ग्लिस्टर या क्लोजअप, डायरेक्ट लिखा होता है वाइट पॉलिशिंग ड्यू टू माइक्रो बीड्स. ऑल दिस आर प्लास्टिक विच विल एंटर in our body. अगर हम कुछ फॉलो या स्क्रब अगर यूज करते हैं which will enter into the drainage. When they enter into the drainage, they will go through the entire drainage system and end in the rivers. Rivers के बाद in the sea. सारा garbage कहाँ पे जा रहा है? समंदर में. Fine. Even दिल्ली का garbage is going and ending in Bay of Bengal. Right? Treatment plants कहाँ हैं इंडिया में? There are no treatment plants. नमामि गंगे प्रोजेक्ट में भी treatment plants कम है. Though there has been strict implementation in some of the cities, but this microbeads are made up of some, their chemistry is changed in such a way कि आप face में इसलिए use करते हो because they can pull the dirt. अब use the same thing, face से ज़्यादा they pull the dirt from the drainage system because they are porous. उनकी पूरी जर्नी में दे पुल द डर्ट, अल्टीमेटली दे विल बी ईटन बाय द फिशेस, फिशेस विल बी ईटन बाय द ह्यूमन बींग्स, और वो पूरा डर्ट लेके दे कम इन आवर बॉडी, and therefore microbeads are causing pollution in the oceans. एक तो they are causing the blocking of the sunlight and they cause pollution in the ocean. So these are the two things from current affairs related to the plastic pollution, only from prelims. Mains में तो ये unending topic है, but from prelims point of view this is why the plastic pollution is dangerous, because plastic cannot be destroyed. Getting it? So Netherlands becomes the first country in the world to ban the use of scrubs, microbeads. USA bans microbeads. India के ऊपर we are saying we are going to take strict policy decision regarding the microbeads. So but nothing happens. So fine with this? Have you understood this? Yes. बैंगलोर का लेक पोल्यूटेंट्स, बिकॉज जब पोल्यूटेंट्स बहुत ज़्यादा होते हैं, केमिकल पोल्यूटेंट्स, केमिकल रिएक्शन से वहाँ पे फोम तैयार होता है एंड फिर वो अंदर नहीं जाता, और जो भी केमिकल रिएक्शन है फोम, केमिकल रिएक्शन से आग लग जाती है खुद ब खुद. सो बैंगलोर के लंग्स जल रहे, या दिल्ली में जो पहाड़ है वो खुद ब खुद जल जाते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ एक्सट्रीम प्रेशर एंड सम केमिकल्स. Chemicals will go on oxidizing. Oxidization से oxygen is released, hydrogen is released. Hydrogen is combustible, so जैसे it is released, आग लग जाती है, इसलिए खुद ब खुद कचरा जलने लग जाता है. See, दिल्ली में it is not allowed to burn the garbage in the open. फिर भी आप देखते हो most of the times जो दिल्ली के बड़े बड़े garbage के mountains हैं, कहाँ पे है? दिल्ली के outskirts पे. एक गाजियाबाद जाते हुए, एक हरियाणा जाते हुए रोहिणी के पास बड़े माउंटेन्स है गार्बेज के. सो दे आर इवन हायर देन माउंट आबू, द हाईएस्ट पॉइंट ऑफ अरावलीज. सो वहाँ पे खुद ब खुद आग लगती है. क्यों गवर्नमेंट खुद का डिसीजंस फॉलो नहीं करती? नो, दैट इज नॉट द केस. इट इज बिकॉज ऑफ सम केमिकल रिएक्शन, दे बर्न स्पॉन्टेनियसली. हाइड्रोजन जब रिलीज होगा, एंड हाइड्रोजन विल बी ट्रैप्ड इन द गैसेस, हाइड्रोजन जब रिलीज होगा, then they will burn automatically. I will come to that process in allopathy also. What is allopathy? It is a process by which big trees ensure that small grasses do not grow in their surroundings. It's all about survival of the fittest. So coming to this, light. Sunlight is a limiting factor. We have written this, I guess, in the below 200 meters. Next, in recent days, due to excessive pollution of water bodies, by chemicals, by industrial chemicals, comma, by plastics, dead zones are created in the water bodies. Dead zones are created in the water bodies. Because as the sunlight is limited, the photosynthesis stops, and hence biological oxygen demand and chemical oxygen demand, you can write BOD and COD, increases. BOD and COD increases. Therefore, the amount of oxygen reduces, which indicates BOD and COD increases, which indicates that the amount of oxygen has reduced, amount of oxygen has reduced, making the water bodies of the world a biological desert. Making the water bodies of the world a biological desert. Sargasso Sea, that is different, that is different. वो सार्गेसो सी वाला एरिया इज डिफरेंट, वो नेचुरल है, वो नेचुरल है. जो ये बायोलॉजिकल डेजर्ट वाला जो कंसेप्ट है, व्हाट यू आर सेइंग इज दैट गल्फ ऑफ मैक्सिको वाला रीजन नहीं, जो अभी रिसेंट न्यूज में था, पर्शियन गल्फ वाला रीजन, पर्शियन गल्फ के नीचे स्ट्रेट ऑफ होर्मुज वाला, जो सबसे बड़ा डेड जोन बन गया है वर्ल्ड का. पैसिफिक ओशन, द वर्ल्ड्स लार्जेस्ट बायोलॉजिकल डेजर्ट. व्हाट यू आर सेइंग गल्फ ऑफ मैक्सिको, दैट इज जस्ट वन न्यूज. उसमें से some part is becoming a dead zone, some part is not, but it is no longer the world's largest dead zone. World's largest dead zone is in the Pacific, a patch in the Pacific जहाँ पे no life is there. Second largest dead zone is in Indian Ocean, Strait of Hormuz और बाबल मंडप के पास. So वहाँ पे तो पिछले साल पूरा पानी लाल कलर का हो गया था because of certain kind of an algal bloom just near the coast of Oman, because of certain kind of an algal bloom. Fine. Thus BOD and COD are indicators of water pollution. Thus BOD and COD are indicators of water pollution. In fact, WWF, what is WWF? World Wildlife Forum has released a report titled World's Top Rivers at Risk. World's Top Rivers at Risk. World's Top Rivers at Risk. So ये रिपोर्ट कौन पब्लिश करता है? WWF. क्योंकि देखो ऑप्शंस आएगा, एक तो UNEP, WWF, यूनेस्को. जनरली हमें लगेगा UNEP, नो, WWF, World's Top Rivers at Risk, which has identified the major dying rivers of the world. Which has identified the major dying rivers of the world. Five out of 10 dying rivers. 5 out of 10 dying rivers are in Asia alone. 5 out of 10 dying rivers are in Asia alone. And these rivers are Yangtze. कौन सी कंट्री? चाइना, नंबर 1 पे. दिस इज द ऑर्डर. आपको ऑर्डर याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. सेकंड मेकोंग, कहां पे? इंडो चाइना रीजन, दैट इज चाइना एंड लाओस, कंबोडिया, वियतनाम. थर्ड साल्विन, कहां पे साल्विन रिवर? साल्विन इज इन म्यांमार. फोर्थ गंगा. एंड फिफ्थ Indus. These are the top 5 most polluted rivers of the world in the terms of major rivers, not in the terms of minor rivers. किनको कहते हैं? These are the dying rivers of the world. They will be soon the dead zone. No life will be there. So उसमें से देखो टॉप 10 में पांचों की पांचों एशिया की. एशिया क्या, अपने नेबरहुड की है सारी रिवर्स. So Yangtze is not dying because of pollution. ये भी खासियत है. Yangtze is dying because of too much of dams on the river. बाकी की सारी is due to pollution. Pollution के कारण, because of pollution, the topmost drying river of the world is Ganga. What? Indus, Pakistan. Pakistan. Once it enters Pakistan, there is pollution. Enough pollution in the Indus River also. Fine? Fine with this? So, second. So, you have understood where the light and oxygen can be a limiting factor. Moisture. Moisture is a limiting factor. Is a limiting factor in the desert and grassland or savanna grassland biome. Grassland and savanna grassland biome. Moisture is a limiting factor in the grassland and the, or desert and the savanna grassland biome. Therefore, trees do not develop in this biomes. क्यों? क्या कम है? Moisture is less. Therefore, the trees do not develop in this biome because the moisture is less. Temperature is a limiting factor. कोई लिखने की जरूरत नहीं, already know where. In the higher latitudes and higher altitudes, temperature is a limiting factor in the higher latitudes and higher altitudes. Temperature is a limiting factor in the higher latitudes and the higher altitudes. In the higher latitudes and the higher altitudes. Fine. So with this background, question number 37. डायरेक्टली रिलेटेड नहीं है. What will be the answer? Answer is infrared part of the solar radiation. That is the not जो हमें first लगता है is the infrared part of the solar radiation. So till the time, let me find out जो मुझे पूछना था. Question number 123. What is the answer? BOD is a standard criteria for pollution in aquatic ecosystem. Pollution as say होना चाहिए in the aquatic ecosystem. Pollution in the aquatic ecosystem. Top level predator of the polar regions. हाँ, predator मतलब quaternary level. क्योंकि polar bear से ऊपर कोई predator नहीं in the polar regions. Only polar bear. Polar bear is the biggest predator on the land. सिर्फ एक्वाटिक इकोसिस्टम के लिए, ऑक्सीजन कभी कम नहीं होगा इसमें इन द टेरेस्ट्रियल इकोसिस्टम. You must have heard about this word ecotone. What is an ecotone? Now suppose, no need of this diagram, this is a region जहाँ पे there is a land ecosystem and land के animals are surviving here. This is a very shallow region and then उसके बाद deep sea starts from here. So यहाँ पे we have an aquatic organisms which are there. Fine. So दो different ecosystem, एक पूरा aquatic, one is totally based on land. It can be grassland, it can be anything. But in this region, you can see this is generally photic in nature. And because it is photic, especially जो region कम depth पे है, will the phytoplanktons grow in this region? Yes. So the phytoplanktons are the plants which are surviving, microscopic tiny plants which can survive in the water bodies which are dependent on sunlight will grow. Maybe we will have a coral reefs also in this region. Fine. So it can be barrier reef, it can be lagoon, it can be anything. Maybe we will have a mangroves in this region. Fine. So what will happen in this region, because the food is available here, fishes which from the deep sea will come to eat the plants in this region. Fine. Because there is small tiny fishes which feed on phytoplanktons, large fish will come in this region. Because large fish is greater in number, maybe shark bhi aayega idhar. Because shark is there or the fishes are there, there will be birds in the sky which will be ready to eat the fishes. There may be crocodiles here. Because pani hai, isliye deer will be here. Most of them to drink the water. Because more number of animals hai, isliye tigers will be here. And because everything hai, even human beings can be here as hunters or as tourists. So what is happening in this zone? This zone is very narrow, but it is very high biodiversity. Very high bioproductivity. क्या फर्क है biodiversity, variety, bioproductivity, life and death. Where there is a large scale bioproductivity which is occurring in this region, and such a transition zone which separates two different ecosystems and has conditions which are common to both the ecosystem is what is known as an ecotone. What is the characteristics of an ecotone? एक ही कि it has very very high biodiversity. So one characteristics is bioproductivity, biodiversity is very high. Second characteristics is as we go from one part of ecotone to another, some species will reduce in number, some species will increase in number. That is, यहाँ से यहाँ जाओगे तो land species will reduce, aquatic species will increase. Secondly, if you go from here to here, exactly reverse. Third, food is available in larger quantity in the ecotone. And therefore, ecotone has greater density of species belonging to both the ecosystem in that narrow region. And because it has greater density, क्योंकि खाना available है वहाँ पे, therefore ecotone is known as zone of tension. क्यों zone of tension? Because there is always the fight for the food. Now there are some species which will be common to both, but there will be some species which will grow exclusively in this region. Which are the species in my here? Mangroves. Will not find anywhere else. Phytoplanktons, maybe corals. So such species which grow only in that region are known as edge species. I guess when Santosh sir has taken the test, you have gone through all this. So this is not familiar. This is not unfamiliar to you. All these words are familiar. Fine? Edge effect, edge species. Why edge species? Because each and every organism here has its own ecological niche in its own ecological habitat. So हमारे लिए 4 words है prelims के लिए: ecological niche, edge effect, edge species, ecotone and ecological habitat. So first we'll write about the ecotone. Understood the basic ecotone matlab kya? A transition zone between two different ecosystem. So before I go, in the trade wind belt, एक साइड में है माउंट डेसिडियस फॉरेस्ट, एक साइड में है डेजर्ट, बीच में क्या है? सवाना ग्रासलैंड्स. सो ग्रासलैंड इज व्हाट? Transition zone between two different ecosystems. As you go into the grassland, trees will reduce, grasses will increase, and ultimately nothing will grow. So it has the conditions of both deserts and conditions of both the deciduous forest. इसलिए savanna grassland has ostrich which is found in the desert. इसलिए savanna grassland has lions. इसलिए savanna grassland has rhinos. And therefore savanna grassland is known as the big game country. Big game country. Why I am taking the savanna grassland? Because of Sara Ali Khan. Sara Ali Khan ने फोटो निकाला एक along with the Masai tribe which was criticized. So Masai is a tribe belonging to the savanna grasslands. मैंने किया है, सिर्फ आपको याद दिला रहा हूँ. Masai is a tribe belonging to the Sara Ali Khani, right? So the Masai is a tribe that belongs to the savanna grasslands of East Africa, tallest people in the world, and they are known for drinking blood from the cattle, zebu, milk, instead of milk, without killing the cattle. So ये याद रखना, savanna grasslands पे question आ सकता है. वैसे भी savanna grassland is one of the favorite along with Mediterranean of UPSC. So go and revise the savanna grasslands. I will tell you some of the important points here. So ecotone. Have you seen the photo? So you can take the ecotone. A narrow transition zone. A narrow transition zone. A narrow transition zone between two different ecosystems. Underline the word different. Two different ecosystems or biomes. जैसे मैंने कल बताया, we can use the word interchangeably. Two different ecosystems or biomes where members of both the diverse ecosystem meet and integrate. Underline the word integrate. Meet and integrate is known as an ecotone. Is known as an ecotone. As the ecotone is having conditions intermediate of both the ecosystems, the number of species, population density, as well as biodiversity is greater in an ecotone. Is greater in an ecotone. This is known as edge effect. Underline edge effect or rat lo abhi. What is edge effect? It's known as an edge effect. Edge effect means greater number of population density, diversity. Population बहुत ज़्यादा है तो edge effect. Why edge effect? क्यों population ज़्यादा है? Because it has conditions intermediate. So ये भी survive कर सकते हैं, ये भी survive कर सकते हैं. Therefore edge effect is greater number of population density, etc. While some of the species are exclusively present in the ecotone. are exclusively present in an ecotone. And such species are known as edge species. Such species are known as edge species. Ecotone is also known as the zone of tension. Ecotone is also known as a zone of tension because of greater biodiversity of the greater biodiversity. Next, examples of ecotone: mangroves, mangroves. Second, corals, corals. Third, estuaries and deltas. Estuaries and deltas. Fourth, grasslands. Fourth, grasslands. Fifth, no fifth, we cancel this. So these are an examples of an ecotone. देखो अब मैंने जितना लिखवाया है, टेल मी will intertidal zone come in the ecotone? Intertidal zone मतलब जहां पे हाई टाइड लो टाइड दोनों है. Yes, they are nothing but estuaries and deltas. What do you mean by ecological habitat? Habitat मतलब क्या? Simple words. घर. Habitat means, so what is the habitat of tiger? What is the habitat of human beings? Fine. Can anyone tell me what is ecological niche? क्या but क्या unique? Tiger is present in India. For example, in the Pench Kana Biosphere Reserve, tiger is present. So it is a habitat of tiger. Deer is present, it is a habitat of deer. Adivasi population is present, it is the habitat of human beings. Birds are present, it is a habitat of birds. But lion है, lion है Pench में नहीं. Identify a single national park in India where both lions and tigers are present simultaneously. कोई है? A national park in India where both lions and tigers are there. है कोई? हो ही नहीं सकता वर्ल्ड में. Why? Because what is the job of a tiger? Top level predator. What is the job of lion? Top level predator. So दोनों का job is ecological niche. Niche, what is their unique functional role in an ecosystem? What is their job in an ecosystem? And if both tigers and lions are present in a single ecosystem, in the single habitat, then there will be competition. Competition will result into elimination of one and survival of the other. So ecological habitat of two species can be same, but if their ecological niche clashes, then there will be competition till the time there is elimination or migration of one species. It is true for each and everything. In district there is only one collector and one SP, top level. Fine. In a classroom, there is only one teacher of one subject. If there are more than of a particular habitat, matlab ek subject, right? If there are more than one teachers of a particular subject, there will be ecological niche will clash, and when the ecological niche clashes, there will be competition, comparison, till the time there is elimination of one species. So that is what will happen. And you can see, for example, how you will engage in that. Art and culture में आपने comparison शुरू कर दिया. Why? Because habitat and niche clashed. वही आर्ट एंड कल्चर अगर जून जुलाई बैच में अलग अलग होता है, एक में एक टीचर, दूसरे में दूसरा टीचर, कुछ क्लैश ही नहीं हो. बट बिकॉज हैबिटेट बिकेम सेम, जयेश सर एंड मैडम, देयर वाज फंक्शनल रोल का क्लैश, एंड एज फंक्शनल रोल क्लैश्ड, देयर वाज. Why it is there? Because each and every one has some kind of a speciality. The speciality of vulture is different from that of lion. That is, lion is different from that of tiger. इसीलिए India में भी when the national parks are being selected, the government will never allow in the natural habitat. Zoo में फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Zoo में they are caged. In the natural habitat, no two species having same ecological niche can survive. इतना याद रखना. Example, in our everyday life, there is sparrow, there is a pigeon. Habitat of sparrow is tree, habitat of pigeon is concrete. जब तक trees थे, sparrows were there, but now concrete has increased and therefore sparrows have disappeared, because sparrows and pigeons started clashing, and when the pigeon and sparrow started clashing, who dominated? The pigeon dominated, and therefore sparrow, house sparrow or the common sparrow is a rare sight in the cities nowadays. So आजकल ये जो स्पैरो के ऊपर इतने आर्टिकल्स आ रहे हैं, they are not that important. उससे अच्छा remember ecological niche and the disappearance of sparrow because of increasing concretization. उससे ज़्यादा the UPSC will not go into detail. कभी नहीं आएगा कि write a short note on the cause of extinction of sparrows, right? एक ही reason है उसका. So उससे अच्छा better do what is ecological niche, ecological habitat. So ecological niche is job or profession. An ecological habitat is home or address. Fine with this? So दिमाग में बैठ गया what is ecological niche? Unique functional role of an organism. It can be flora, fauna in a particular habitat is ecological niche. No two organisms can have same ecological niche if they are in the same habitat. But इसी tigers और lions को अलग कर दो, उनका कोई clash नहीं है. इसलिए eagle और other falcons, raptor birds, चाहे वो चील हो, whether it is hawk, whether it is eagle during the daytime, but owl अपना habitat change कर देता है. It comes out during the night time so that there is no clash. अगर दोनों एक साथ आए तो there will be clash till the time there will be elimination of one species. So eagle comes out during the day, it will eat the same process, and owl will come out during the night. क्योंकि ecological habitat के examples ये owl versus eagle में आएंगे या sparrow versus इसमें आएंगे. Getting it? You have seen कभी owl during the daytime, eagle during the night time. ईगल कब देखा है? नाइट में, पेड़ पे बैठा हुआ नहीं, कैप्चरिंग समथिंग, गोइंग आफ्टर समथिंग, नेवर, बिकॉज हैबिटेट अलग है. हैबिटेट रात के समय इज दैट ऑफ एन आउल एंड दिन के समय इट इज दैट ऑफ एन ईगल. गेटिंग इट? फाइन. सो इकोलॉजिकल हैबिटेट, ecological habitat refers to ecological habitat refers to the address of an species, the address of an species, where the species lives, where the species lives, ecological habitat is associated with the environment where the species lives. Ecological habitat is associated with the environment where the species lives. Based on the environmental preferences based on the environmental preferences. Though, full stop. But the difference between habitat but environmental preferences, but the difference between the habitat and the environment is difference between the habitat and the environment is environment may or may not have a life. Environment may or may not have a life, and habitat will always have life. Habitat will always have life. देखो एग्जाम्पल से समझो, डेजर्ट एनवायरनमेंट हो सकता है लाइफ है, नहीं है. जब लाइफ है तो हम कहते हैं इट इज अ हैबिटेट ऑफ ग्रेट इंडियन बस्टर्ड, इट इज अ हैबिटेट ऑफ वाइल्ड एस. नॉट ईच एंड एवरी पार्ट ऑफ द डेजर्ट हैज लाइफ. Dead lake will not be a, dead sea will not be a habitat of anything. It is an saline environment, marine environment, but it is not an habitat of any organism. Understood this? Ecological niche, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट डेफिनेशन है. इकोलॉजिकल niche is the unique functional role that species perform. Underline the word unique functional role that species perform based on its position in an ecosystem. Based on its position in an ecosystem. Example 1. Though vulture and crow are both scavengers, position अलग है. एग्जाम्पल डिस्ट्रिक्ट में देखो, कलेक्टर भी है, एसडीएम भी है, पोजीशन अलग हो जाती है, हैबिटेट अलग हो जाता है. कलेक्टर का पूरा डिस्ट्रिक्ट है, कलेक्टर और एसडीएम का कभी क्लैश नहीं होगा, क्लैश होते ही प्रॉब्लम्स हो जाएंगे. सो सिमिलरली वल्चर कलेक्टर, क्रो एसडीएम, फाइन, दोनों स्कैवेंजर्स है, बट दोनों का पोजीशन इज डिफरेंट. गेटिंग इट? वल्चर एंड क्रो आर बोथ स्कैवेंजर्स, but their positions are different. क्यों? Because the vulture is the top level scavenger. Hence, their ecological niche does not clash. Because, underline again this statement, no two species in a same habitat can have the same ecological niche. Else there will be competition till the time one species is eliminated and displaced. Till the one species is either eliminated or displaced. One species is either eliminated or displaced. So, come to question number 46. What is the answer? Answer is a drug used by cattle owners for treating their diseased cattle. कौन सा drug है? Diclofenac. Question number 50. Which one of the following describes not only the physical space, मतलब habitat, but also functional role, मतलब niche in the community of organisms? So the answer is B, niche. And question number 54. In the grasslands, trees do not replace the grasses as a part of ecological succession because कुछ तो limiting factor है. So they have asked you what is the limiting factor. Insects and fungus? नहीं, बहुत ज़्यादा हो सकते हैं कहीं पे भी. Limited sunlight, savanna grasslands में क्या sunlight is limited or too high? It is too high. Water limits and fire. Why the savanna grasslands में grasses do not replace the tree? Because moisture is a limiting factor. कहाँ fire कहाँ से आया? See, even if you don't know fire, is there any other option? नहीं. But to कहाँ से आया fire? Fire is there from a simple fact that savanna grasslands, I have told you the concept of rivers dying. Savanna grasslands can rub against each other and thus they set on fire. When the fire occurs, जो भी seeds है trees के, they are eliminated. But the grasses के जो भी seeds है, they are fire resistant, they survive. इससे savanna grasslands make sure that trees do not grow in their ecosystem by natural forest fires because the trees are destroyed, trees का seeds which have come due to winds or cross pollination, they are destroyed by the forest fires. Grasses के trees को seeds को कोई भी फर्क नहीं पड़ता because grasses का in the savanna grassland, the grasses का seeds are fire resistant. उनको fire से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. In fact, fire जानबूझ के वो लगाते हैं. That is a natural forest. They will rub against each other when they become dry. There is a fire, and with the fire, जो excess migration हो के animals वो सब आए हैं, they are killed, and thus the grasslands will maintain themselves. Because if the grasslands can maintain themselves, then only lions, leopards, ostrich, elephants can survive. If the grasslands are not there, lions will disappear. Lion versus tiger. याद रखना, who is more powerful? Who is more powerful? Tiger is more powerful. 9 out of 10 times, जहाँ जहाँ lion and tiger have clashed, 9 out of 10 times it is the tiger which will kill the lion and take over an area. एक या दो exceptions है when the lion can kill the tiger, वो भी अकेले कभी नहीं. Tiger is always single. Lion always occurs in groups. Fine. So why we call lion as a king of a jungle then? Nothing but because it has a mane. Strength wise it is tiger which is most powerful. इसलिए इतना focus है on conservation of tigers, not on lions. So we come to the two important definitions of carrying capacity and the ecological footprint, and then we come to two important programs, Earth Hour और इस साल expected है Earth Overshoot Day. 3 साल से expected है Earth Overshoot Day. So prepare Earth Overshoot Day very properly. Have you gone across this term in the Hindu? Earth Overshoot Day. This, yes, कब celebrate हुआ था? कब होने वाला है celebrate? In this month itself, Earth hour. What you do in this? You switch off the lights for 1 hour. So this is the Earth hour and Earth overshoot day. But before that, we'll come to the carrying capacity. What do you mean by carrying capacity? Any simple words? Carrying capacity matlab kya? What is the carrying capacity of this class? 350, 357, कुछ adjust करके 360, 362. So carrying capacity is the maximum amount of population that an area can support. किसका population? Of all the living organisms? No. It depends upon species. It can support 350 students. It cannot support one tiger. Right? So this is what is known as an carrying capacity. It can support millions of microorganisms. So carrying capacity. What is the ecological footprint? Ecological footprint is how much area you require to live. Fine? So how much area tiger requires to live? मैंने जो बोला था 60 kilometers. How much area bacteria requires to live? How much area a dog requires to live? And people are generally guarded about their ecological footprint and the carrying capacity. So इसलिए when you see a बाहर का dog comes in an area, the dog's other will throw him out because dogs also know कि ये आगे जाके competition देगा. It will eat the resources. It will take over the resources. So the same thing applies to even human beings also. So चाहे आप कहोगे in the terms of regionalism in India, it is all based on the carrying capacity. कि अरे यूपी और बिहार से सब अगर migrate होके settle हो रहे तो हमारे jobs कहाँ जाएंगे? The simple, because carrying capacity is limited. An ecological footprint of humans cannot be calculated. You can calculate the ecological footprint of each and every species in the world except for the human beings, because ये मेरी language नहीं, ये official language है WWF की. Because human being is the only species in the world which is confused between his need and his greed. So whether you require 1 BHK ka flat, then it becomes 2 BHK, then it becomes 3 BHK, then it becomes bungalow. You don't know actually how much you require to live. And that is why calculation of ecological footprint is difficult. But there is one organization which is calculating the ecological footprint of the humans. When it calculates, वो करता है कि चलो human beings are going to live for next 200 years. And they divides it into the years. कितने resources available है. Then it divides them into months. Jan, Feb, March till December. So if we are living as per the optimum carrying capacity, if X is the amount of resource per annum, so we should be using the X as a resource from Jan to December. For next year from Jan to December, whatever the resource is available. But what is happening, human beings are using so much resource. Suppose if 200 kg is the resource for that one particular year, we are finishing that 200 kg somewhere much before the December. So the day when that resources for that one particular year gets ended, we say earth overshoot has occurred. It is more like a credit card. कि आपको या मोर लाइक योर पॉकेट मनी कि आपको दिया है इतना इतना 15,000 रुपए, आपके खर्चे ज्यादा है तो लास्ट के 5 दिन उधारी पे. सो यहाँ पे उधारी किस पे हो रही है? उधारी फ्रॉम नेक्स्ट ईयर, उधारी फ्रॉम नेक्स्ट जनरेशन. Next generation. If you are using the water resources or petroleum or any resources right now, who will be at the cost? The next generation. Forget next generation, you yourself will be at loss when you become 80, when you become 60, when the body will not be supporting the extra burden. So that is what is the earth overshoot day. It was not that important, but it is becoming alarming right now because earth overshoot day is occurring in the month of August itself. We finish the resources of that year in the month of August. That means we are living on the resources of the next year and next generation. Humanity, it is said, will survive till the time earth overshoot day does not occur in the month of March. But जैसे ही earth overshoot day is occurring in the month of March, it will be difficult for humans to survive. अभी तक हम अगस्त में लेके आए, 2010 में it was in December, 2018 में it is on 3rd of August. Then it will become 3rd of August means you are going in July. That means August, September, October, November, December. 5 months you are living on the resources which belong to next year. So obviously you are using the air which belongs to next year. When you are using too much of air pollution. When you are using, because you are not giving the nature to recycle, time to recycle. You are using too much of water, water pollution, water scarcity, food crisis. This is what is happening, and therefore Earth Overshoot Day is important. Now, to stop the overuse of resources, UNESCO, WWF came out with a program which is known as Earth Hour, in which they make us realize that at least you should switch off the non-essential lights. ऐसा नहीं कि essential lights, only the non-essential lights. This is just a propaganda program to make sure that people realize that wastage is not good. So these are the 4 things. इसमें से सबसे important is the carrying capacity. And then India के some of the examples. So what is the carrying capacity? So carrying capacity of an given area is the maximum population of specific species. Underline the word specific species. Maximum population of specific species that it can support. Thus, in the carrying capacity, consumption needs resource utilization, waste cycling is calculated. मतलब इसमें सिर्फ consumption नहीं, even how much amount of land we require for that we can dispose of the waste and it can be recycled is calculated. Fine. The carrying capacity thus is the capacity of the earth to regenerate the resources, so that we can survive. From the carrying capacity, the concept comes of planetary boundaries. No need of writing this. So carrying capacity से concept आता है planetary boundaries. कि human beings इतना ज़्यादा waste and इतना ज़्यादा consumption ले रहा है कि what Earth is providing us is not necessary. So to match the current levels of human consumption, Earth का कितना boundary होना चाहिए, बड़ा या कम? So जहाँ पे ओवर यूटिलाइजेशन है रिसोर्सेज का, ऑब्वियसली बड़ी बाउंड्री. जहाँ पे लेसर यूटिलाइजेशन है, विच इज नॉट पॉसिबल इन टुडेज वर्ल्ड, देयरफॉर लेस प्लैनेटरी बाउंड्रीज. सो व्हेन वी वर इन द स्टोन एज, अर्थ वाज गिविंग अस इनफ, बट वी डिड नॉट हैव द टेक्नोलॉजी. राइट नाउ द अर्थ इज गिविंग अस वेरी लेस as compared to what our needs are, and therefore we require greater amount of planetary boundaries. So next point, the concept of planetary boundaries. You can refer September's Hindu. मैं exactly date कल बता दूंगा. The concept of planetary boundaries takes into account both the carrying capacity as well as ecological footprint. In the Anthropocene era, पिछले साल indirect question था. We were expecting a question of the carrying capacity, that is earth overshoot day. उन्होंने question पूछा, what do you mean by Anthropocene? In the Anthropocene era, that is last 10,000 years, not 2000, last 10,000 years. Last 10,000 years, when human civilizations have flourished, when human civilizations have flourished, due to over consumption of the resources, planetary boundaries are increasing. Planetary boundary is increasing, and we are promoting sixth mass extinction. We are promoting the sixth mass extinction. Because the Anthropocene era is based on our mantras or our belief. Based on our mantra or belief. One, anthropocentric. 3 belief है अपने. First belief is anthropocentric. क्या है anthropocentric? Everything on the earth is for human consumption. That is first. First, anthropocentric, which means we are meant to exploit the nature endlessly. Anthropocentric, which means we are meant to exploit the nature endlessly. Second, nature endlessly. Second, we are the most important species of the earth. We are the most important species of the earth. We believe we are the most important species on the earth. क्या फायदा है ह्यूमन बींग्स एंड बाकी एनिमल स्पीसीज में? क्यों ये बिलीफ है? एक सिंपल थिंग, बिकॉज वी कैन गॉसिप. इफ यू रीड अ बुक of the same name, you will understand. Because of human gossip, human has the ability to gossip, and because of gossiping, human being is the only species in the world which can create a false reality. And because it can create a false reality, it can create dreams. And because it can create dreams, human being is the only species in which you can sell the dreams and you can regroup in large numbers. When you can regroup in large numbers, कोई भी species आपके खिलाफ is very. So that is how we defeated Homo sapiens defeated Homo Neanderthal. Because Neanderthal, like other animal species, was objective. जो दिखता है वही है. Human beings create कर सकते हैं false reality. कि हम आपको IAS बनाएंगे. So this is a reality. I don't know whether it is a false or not, but this is how we can create. It is not reality right now, but we can sell you the dreams. Because we can sell you the dreams, we can fill the classroom. Fine? So because we can fill the classroom, we have a strength. Getting it? So this is possible only by the human beings. That is why Anthropocene. And lastly, last belief, we are not a part of the nature. We are not a part of the nature. We are not a part of the nature. These three beliefs, originated in the idea of Western model of economic growth. Western model of economic growth, which belief originated in the idea of Western model of economic growth. Economics growth versus development. It is an economic growth which does not give any importance to nature and culture. Which does not give any importance to nature and culture. Fine. वहाँ पे लिखना continued in biodiversity. मतलब we will do this mains का topic as community reserves in biodiversity. ये this is against the Western model of thinking. Green GDP against the Western model of thinking. Happiness index against the human development index, which is based on the purchasing power parity. The happiness index, green chemistry, green physics, green biology, जो sustainable agriculture, the sustainable sugar initiative, zero budget natural farming, जो अपना geography में बाकी है, it will all come as a part of environment and ecology. Getting it? So, but in biodiversity. Ecological footprint. Ecological footprint. Carrying capacity, what nature can give us. Ecological footprint, आपके पैर की छाप, कितना एरिया यू रिक्वायर. कार्बन फुटप्रिंट, हाउ मच कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड यू रिक्वायर. वाटर फुटप्रिंट, हाउ मच वाटर यू रिक्वायर. सो इकोलॉजिकल फुटप्रिंट is the area which is required, to sustain indefinitely a person, a city, nation और ह्यूमैनिटी एज सच. डिपेंड करता है किसको आप रेफरेंस पॉइंट ले रहे हो. It accounts for consumption of energy. It accounts for consumption of energy, food, water, energy, food, water, and the creation of waste. The ecological footprint is measured in global hectares, GHA, global hectares per person. Global hectares per person. Global hectares per person. Every year the ecological footprint is used. Every year the ecological footprint is used by global footprint network. By a global footprint network, which is a non-governmental organization, to calculate ecological depth day or earth overshoot day. Depth मतलब, what do you mean by depth? कर्ज or earth overshoot day. Just then you exceed the limit of your karja, and it is earth overshoot day. So who calculates earth overshoot day? Global footprint network. कौन है? NGO है. It is not at all related to World Bank, United Nations, etc. इतना याद रखना. Fine. The Earth Overshoot Day. The Earth Overshoot Day is calculated by dividing the world's biocapacity. Is calculated by dividing the world's biocapacity. Biocapacity is another name for carrying capacity. By calculating the world's biocapacity, biocapacity मतलब carrying capacity, by ecological footprint, is calculated by dividing the world's biocapacity by ecological footprint. By the ecological footprint. The Earth Overshoot Day. Earth Overshoot Day. Earth Overshoot Day is increasing day by day, is increasing every year, Example, in 2000 the Earth Overshoot Day was September 23rd. In 2000 the Earth Overshoot Day was September 23rd, but in 2018 the Earth Overshoot Day was 1st August. The Earth Overshoot Day was 1st August. मतलब entire August, September, October, November, December we are in Karj of next year. Fine. As the Earth Overshoot Day becomes more nearer to the earlier months, as the Earth Overshoot Day becomes more nearer to the earlier months, it shows that human beings have exhausted the year's worth of planet's resources. It shows that human beings have exhausted the year's worth of planet's resources much earlier. The planet's resources much earlier. Exhausted the planet's resources much earlier, which explains the increasing air pollution, water pollution, etc. in the cities. Explains the air pollution, water pollution in the cities. In the India's ecological footprint, is considered at 1.16 global hectares per person. मतलब अपने को कितनी जमीन चाहिए पर पर्सन? 1.16 hectares. Ecological footprint is considered as 1.16 global hectares per person, but India's carrying capacity is 0.45 global hectares per person. global hectares per person. मतलब कितनी जमीन दे सकता है इंडिया हमें? And how much is our need with our consumption? 1.16. इसलिए तो इतना पोल्यूशन, इतना ट्रैफिक जैम, इतना पॉपुलेशन, इतना कंपटीशन, क्योंकि घर जितना सपोर्ट कर रहा है उससे ज्यादा पॉपुलेशन है अपना. अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस? It means to provide for our consumptions, to provide for our consumption, we require an area which is 2.5 times greater than present size of India, which is 2.5 area than the present times of India. These are three top countries as per the global footprint. सबसे ज़्यादा global footprint है USA का, उसके बाद चाइना का, उसके बाद इंडिया का. If there is world and having 100%, the present world can support only 25 US citizens. इतना ज़्यादा उनका डिमांड है from the nature. That is what is the ecological footprint. 37 Chinese, 52 Indians, 110 Bangladeshis, 207 Africans. अगर स्पेस है जिसमें 100 is the optimum, तो Africans do not exploit anything from the nature क्योंकि टेक्नोलॉजी कम है, पॉवर्टी ज़्यादा है. So but सबसे ज़्यादा है that of USA. यूरोप. सो दिस आर द टॉप 3 कंट्रीज. इंडिया बिकेम द टॉप मोस्ट कंट्री. सो इस साल का ही रिपोर्ट है ग्लोबल फुटप्रिंट नेटवर्क का. सो इंडिया हैज बिकम द टॉप 3 कंट्रीज एंड वी हैव रिड्यूस्ड फ्रांस. फाइन. सो इतना डिटेल में याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Yeah, you can say in the terms of consumption technology. So no doubt you see अभी आजकल जो reports आ रहे हैं, which is the worst city in India in the terms of Gurgaon. So with this background, I guess we have solved this question. Earth hour started in Sydney in August 2007. Started in Sydney in August 2007. It is a program by WWF. It is the program by WWF which engages more than 180 countries. ये भी याद रखना चाहिए कितनी countries. Engages more than 180 countries. मतलब almost all world को engage करता है. Engages more than 180 countries in which the people are encouraged to switch off. People are encouraged to switch off their non-essential lights between 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. obviously 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. to create an awareness among people, about conservation of energy, कब है अर्थ आवर? It is generally on the last Saturday or Sunday of March. कब है 30 मार्च? So Earth Hour याद रखना is a charitable organization which is based in Singapore. Earth Hour is a charitable organization which is based in Singapore. हाँ हाँ, अलग अलग हर कंट्री में जब 8:30 बजेंगे तब हर कंट्री में, वो भी कौन से नॉन एसेंशियल लाइट्स, ये भी याद रखना. क्वेश्चन नंबर 59. $59 क्या दिया है? इट इज सी by this you should know the questions. देखो questions tricky है, very simple question come in environment ecology. That is why you should not take unnecessary tension of environment and ecology. Very simple questions will come, they will just change some of the language. इतना कभी टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन नहीं आता है एनवायरमेंट में. इट इज इनिशिएटिव ऑफ WWF. क्या दिया है? UNEP एंड यूनेस्को. It is a movement in which the participants switch off the lights for 1 hour on a certain day every year. अब इतना मत सोचो नाइट होनी चाहिए वहां पे. Certain day, 24 hours का day. It includes night also. It is a movement to raise the awareness about the climate change. So the answer is 2 and 3. Why someone said B? Answer is C. इसलिए लिखवाया. It is for raising the awareness. Fine. What is the answer for 60? I have not yet taught you. C या A? Herrings are very small zooplanktons type of thing. Answer is C. आंसर इसका कंट्रोवर्शियल है. कोई कहता है A, कोई कहता है C. UPSC कहता है C. See, this is the question जो अगर मैं भी होता यहाँ पे तो मैं इसको अटेम्प्ट नहीं करता, क्योंकि दोनों इसके दो आंसर्स है. इवन A is right, इवन C is right. बट ऐसे समय UPSC फिर आंसर की क्या देता है? इट बिकम्स इंपॉर्टेंट. सो इवन A is right. There are some herrings which are going to eat the crustaceans. There are some crustaceans which are going to eat the herrings. So UPSC ने आंसर दिया C. अब जिन्होंने A मार्क किया, इट इज नॉट स्टेट सर्विस की आप कोर्ट केस करो, स्टेट सर्विस फिर चेंज करेगी. सो ऐसे समय बेटर टू लीव द क्वेश्चन. सो वन, दिस इज द बेस्ट एग्जांपल कि कैसे क्वेश्चंस को अटेम्प्ट नहीं करना है. नहीं नहीं, crustaceans are the shell bearing animals. I'll come to this question later on. So the functions of ecosystem. What are the functions of ecosystem? Can someone tell me what is the function of ecosystem? इकोसिस्टम जो है आसपास क्या क्या काम करता है? सस्टेन कैसे? ठीक है. और दूसरा? सी, functions of ecosystem is what he is saying is the importance of ecosystem. मेंस में आता है functions of ecosystem. प्रीलिम्स में भी आता है, but this is more the topic of mains. And when the functions of ecosystem say, don't say कि it will clean the air, it will give us life, it is giving us food. No, that is importance. Functions is very technical. 4 functions है जिसमें 3 very important है. एक है ecological succession. दूसरा है एनर्जी फ्लो. बाय फूड चेन, जिसमें मैं उस क्वेश्चन पे आऊंगा. डायटम्स, क्रस्टेशियंस, फूड वेब. नॉट एट ऑल इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम द एग्जाम. इकोलॉजिकल पिरामिड्स. एंड तीसरा है न्यूट्रिएंट साइक्लिंग, इसमें से हर साल एक क्वेश्चन इन द टर्म्स ऑफ कार्बन साइकिल, नाइट्रोजन साइकिल एक्सेट्रा। पिछले साल कौन सा? फॉस्फोरस साइकिल, उससे पहले नाइट्रोजन साइकिल। एंड फोर्थ which you may skip totally is don't even prepare homeostasis. Obviously first most important is the ecological succession, right? So this mains में भी आता है, तो you have to write this. Don't write it provides us food etc. That is the importance of ecosystem. This is the functions of an ecosystem. What is ecological succession? Anyone? What is ecological succession? Those who have read from the material, etc. See, how did life originate on the planet Earth? Suddenly or by the process of evolution? By the process of evolution. सबसे पहले what was there? There was primordial atmosphere. जिसमें was there oxygen? No. So there was more of a carbon dioxide, methane, hydrogen, helium. Fine, but there was no oxygen. So पिछले साल का जो question है, दो questions coming directly from the ecological succession. So, or you can say even from the climatology. So initially there was a primordial atmosphere, then some form of life came. Ultimately this life became multicellular. Multicellular से we came. So the process by which the life gets converted from simple unicellular organisms to complex multicellular organisms which ultimately rule the earth is what is known as an ecological succession. It is nothing but Darwin's the survival of the fittest and selection of the concept of natural selection. The things which are not needed are discarded by the nature. The things which are needed are carried forward. Because the concept of life as such is propagation. Any life ka one fundamental thing is propagation by the process of natural selection. So in the ecological succession, initially whatever comes on the land is there is bare rock on the land. Trees cannot grow on the land. So initially what will come, very fine species will come and they will start growing on the land, and this species which will come are known as pioneer species. Now what will be included in the pioneer species? Bacteria, fungus, moss, lichens. Have you seen moss? किसी ने मॉस देखा है? Where? As soon as the rainfall occurs, what comes? Some green color object. It can come even on the cement. जिसमें slippery होता है. That is an moss. Where it grows? It grows in the region जहाँ पे cement भी है, where there is rock also. Why? Because it is a pioneer species. It can come and colonize the any area and it does not require the nutrients. So they will come and colonize the area. After they come and colonize the area, they will start breaking the rocks by secreting some of the acids. As the rocks start breaking, you can see the soil ka layer has started to increase, and therefore this pioneer species will be soon replaced by the intermediate species which consist of the shrubs or some of the smaller flowering plants. The smaller flowering plants will ultimately through their root system will engage in making the soil enriched by exchange of minerals. As the soil gets enriched by the exchange of minerals, the soil becomes more fertile. These plants will die and they will increase the humus in the soil. As the humus increases, the shrubs will give rise to longer herbs. and the herbs will give rise to some of the primitive trees. These trees can be the trees which may grow in the shady shade conditions or which do not require the major nutrients. The trees through their extensive root system will further break the rocks, and they will further enrich the soil by addition of humans and mineral exchange. They will make the soil rich in humus, they will make the soil rich in moisture, and ultimately this community, when the conditions become better, will be replaced by a bigger variety of trees, and this bigger variety of trees will support higher forms of life. And these trees, which are much bigger in number, which are very complex, which can survive in any conditions, are what are known as the climax community. So the life, how it goes from pioneers community to the climax species or the climax community, which is complex, multicellular, and dominating over the other species, is what is known as an ecological succession. Do ecological succession takes place in humans? Yes, ecological succession is taking place in humans on the daily basis. जैसे the recent जो human beings है, जो हमारा generation है, उनका head का size थोड़ा बड़ा है. The next generation will still have bigger head size. क्यों? Processing. More processing is required, and therefore the size of the head is increasing. We do not require tail. जब हम born होते हैं तो डॉक्टर अपनी पूंछ नहीं काटता. We are born without the tail. Why? Because हमको tail की जरूरत नहीं. So tail has been discarded, but there is tail in the monkeys. Monkeys से छोटी tail है in chimpanzees. Chimpanzees can not stand tall, straight. So, but chimpanzees also cannot stay on the ground. They will live in the tropical evergreen forest, जहाँ पे human beings originated. So, कोई भी ape जो है, उसके हाथ लंबे होते हैं as compared to the pair, because उनको लटक के फिर नीचे का सामान लेना होता है. We do not require all these things. So, over the period of time, we do not, our body has discarded. This is what is an ecological succession. Who has dominated? We, complex community. Who will dominate in the future? Maybe the new human beings, which will replace us in this generation. They will be more superior mentally as compared to the physical superiority. हमसे ज़्यादा physical superior were the Stone Age people, जिन्होंने भिम्बेट का केव्स बनाए, एलोरा एंड अजंता के केव्स बनाए. See by the sheer size of that, पता लगता है कि how superior they were. एक दांत मिला है recently in the Alaska region. वो दांत की size क्या है? Half our body size. That means this was the size of the human beings. What has happened? Decreased. But what has increased is the processing power. So future ke human beings will be more superior to us, and ultimately they will replace us. So this entire process is what is known as an ecological succession. Getting it? So अब उसमें से question था, ecological succession does not occur in the grasses. क्यों? क्योंकि for ecological succession to occur, the conditions have to be better. So conditions मतलब पानी भी होना चाहिए. So पानी नहीं है इसलिए, and forest fires होता है. So the grassland does not replace the trees, do not replace the grassland in the savanna biome. अब इससे question आ सकता है, ecological succession does not occur in deserts. What is limiting factor? Moisture. Ecological succession does not occur in tundra. What is the limiting factor? Temperature. Ecological succession occurs in the tropical evergreen forest क्योंकि both moisture and temperature is abundant. Fine with this? So ecological succession is related to biodiversity. जहाँ पे tough conditions, वहाँ पे less number of species. जहाँ पे best conditions, the more number of species. Ecological succession is present every day in your life. Do this small experiment. Take roti today, keep it outside. 2 दिन में fungus. उसके बाद लाइकेंस, उस लाइकेंस को लेना, एक मड में डालना, उसको पानी हमेशा देते रहना, कोई ना कोई श्रब बाहर निकलेगा. टेक दैट श्रब, पुट इट इन द गार्डन, इट विल बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू ट्री in next 5-6 years. So this is what the ecological succession is occurring on the daily basis. Fine with this? Ecological succession news में क्यों है? पिछले 1.5 साल की न्यूज़ की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. Because of an island which is known as an Ganga Sagar Island, which is in the Bay of Bengal, which 3 years back was not having any single life. When recently Botanical Survey of India के कुछ scientists गए to see at that Ganga Sagar Island, it is densely forested. किसने लाया forest? खुद ही आया. Ecological succession. Fine with this? So we'll continue the ecological succession tomorrow. Are you having polity class? I'll ask.